Okay, good morning everybody. First of all, I'd like to take the opportunity to thank the organisers of this event for inviting me here. I'd actually also like to thank Nicola, who haven't even actually formally met yet, but she's actually put a lot of what I'm going to say here in context for me already, so she's actually made my life very easy, so thank you very much. Okay, I graduated from the GMIT here many years ago, more years than I care to count at this stage. This room didn't even exist when I went to college here. And I suppose when I was first asked to present, I thought, let me look and see what gave me my foundation in getting me to where I am today. What were the key things that I did? I think sometimes people feel that I think sometimes people feel that there is a very complex recipe for defining, first of all, what your career path will be and actually being successful in it. I agree with Nicola when she says that's not the case. It's actually very simple. And I think the simpler you keep it, the better. For me, I suppose when I started out, I always had a very strong work ethic. When I would have been in school, I would have done summer jobs, etc. Even when I was in college, I would have pretty much worked full time and always during the summer holidays, Easter holidays, etc. Now, at the time, I would have looked on that as an opportunity to make money and put myself through college and have something to do during the summer and money to socialise, etc. It's only in later years when I look back that I actually realised I was developing core skills during that time in a very practical sense. So I worked in Rocha Stores, which is Debenhams today. I was a sales assistant, and I now recognise that I was learning key competencies like customer focus, communication skills and team playing. But as I said, I didn't realise that at the time. So for those of you who are doing summer jobs currently, they're absolutely key to building a foundation for your future career. I studied business studies here at the GMIT. I took the marketing stream. When I was in school, like everybody, I really didn't know what I wanted to do, but I enjoyed business studies, so I figured that was the route that I would probably always take. I think I always knew I would end up working in business or in a business environment, but doing exactly what, I had no idea. And to be honest, I had no idea either when I graduated. Again, I always knew I would definitely work in a business environment. I enjoyed business, I enjoyed studying it. And I suppose what I liked about the course that I did was that it gave me a general overview of business and it didn't pigeonhole me into a particular area. And to that end, I could go out and I could try different things and see what I liked. I think I always knew I would like to work in management, but in what way or on what level, I had no idea. And I guess that's what makes it exciting, is that you come out of college, you don't know exactly what it is you want to do, so you try different things and eventually you fall into something that you love. I did many different jobs over the years. Some of the key ones would have been, I worked as a recruitment consultant for a couple of years based in Dublin and in Galway, and I think I learned key skills there that helped me to get onto a management career path. So I started to work for Churchill Insurance when they came to Ireland as a team leader in their sales centre. And the irony of it is, I actually don't consider myself a very good sales person, but the team lead role I really enjoyed, and I loved coaching and managing people, and I realised that it was something that I was good at. I also worked as a team leader for AOL in Waterford. And 8 years ago then I came to SAP, and again I joined them at team leader level. I moved on then to be a support team manager with them, and I now run their customer interaction centre here based in Galway. We're always asked to give top tips, and I've spoken a number of times to students in the GMIT over the last few years around interview skills and CV skills and that kind of thing. And I know from speaking with Bridie and presentations that she's given in the past that there are certain top tips that they tell you that that industry are looking for, and everything that they tell you is absolutely the truth. They're spot on in telling you what we need. But the one key area that I'd like to focus on first of all is embracing change. A quote that I really like from Charles Darwin is where he says that it's not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent, but the one that's most responsive to change. And that's absolutely key. In any job that I've worked in over the years, change has always been happening. So So, we work in a very dynamic industry. The world itself is very dynamic at the moment. Competition is absolutely crucial for companies at the minute. It doesn't matter how many degrees we have, how many masters we have, how many letters we have after our name, etc., or how intelligent we are. It comes down to whether we're able to adapt to change as and when it hits us. From a psychology perspective, I suppose we're all different. I've always enjoyed change and I've always enjoyed working in that environment, but I know some people don't, and they don't naturally maybe react to change. But that's a skill that people can develop. So I would always say to people, if you are somebody that is slow to change or doesn't like change when it comes about, that's probably an area that you need to look at developing immediately when you go into the big bad world of work. Some other key areas then, I would say, you need to understand what it is the industry that you're looking to go into is. I suppose depending on the role that you do will depend on the level of knowledge that you need to have. From a management perspective, I would say don't become a manager because you like the idea of the job title. It's the absolute wrong reason to go there. I think historically many people accepted managerial titles for just that. They liked the idea of being a manager. But there's much more to the role, and for you to be successful in it, you want the role for the right reasons. Being flexible and adaptable is absolutely key, and I think it's been the cornerstone for me of getting me to where I am today. Flexibility. If you look at the IT industry at the moment, 9 out of 10 of the global IT companies have a presence in Ireland at the moment. That means that their customers are global, they're around the world, and so they need to align their business hours accordingly. So gone are the days probably of working 9 to 5 hours. People need to be available and flexible in the hours that they work, more so than they would have done historically. But therein lies opportunity also, possibilities for people to travel, etc. Adaptability, people often ask me, what is my job? What do I do day to day? And to be absolutely honest, I find it very hard to describe. I would argue that my job is to come in and do what needs to be done at any given time and not wait to be asked to do it. Very often you'll find, as you work in different departments, etc., things get thrown over the fence and things may land on your desk that technically probably don't belong in your department. It's probably technically somebody else's responsibility. But you have to look at the fact that there's a customer perhaps waiting for information or needing an issue to be resolved at the end of this. So do you push it back over the fence, or do you get on with it and do it? You will be remembered for the times that you said yes, but you will probably be remembered more, or certainly equally, for the times you said no. So I would say any opportunity you get in any job that you do to do something different, or even to do something that is outside of the norm, or something that may not be connected to what you do, take it and run with it. You will learn from it. Commitment is absolutely crucial. I would say whether you're doing a job for 6 days, 6 months, 6 years, it doesn't matter. You need to commit fully when you're there. Some of you may decide to travel when you've graduated. You may decide to go to Australia for a year, and before you do, you might want to work for maybe 4 or 6 months to get some money together. That job is something that you may not do for the rest of your life or have any aspirations to do in the longer term, but you may need a reference from that person when you return from Australia, and you want that person to say positive things about you. Team playing, absolutely critical. I think Nicola touched on it earlier where she said always share a problem. It's much easier if something isn't working, talk to other people about it, brainstorm it. You're much more likely to find not just a solution, but a very good solution for the problem. And from a people perspective, as a manager, I would say it's absolutely key that you're able to communicate not at people, but with people. It's very important that we collaborate. People would say historically, I think, there was a kind of a myth that teams are only as good as the managers that lead them. I actually don't believe that. I think it's the other way around. A manager is only as good as the people that they work with. So my current role is, as I said, manager of the Customer Interaction Centre at SAP. To describe what I do to you on a daily basis would probably take a week at best, and a lot more slides than this. And the slide would probably change every day. But if I were to sum it up, I would say there's 3 main aspects to my role. One is operations, so day-to-day managing the business to make sure that we achieve our KPIs. Secondly is the people aspect of the role, so people management, or as we refer to it at SAP, employee engagement, and ensuring that our employees are happy in the environment that they work in, because they will be more productive. And thirdly then is the strategy element of business. So looking at your business all the time and trying to work out new ways and better ways to innovate and do things, and making sure that you're in line with your company's business strategy. Challenges, there are many, and again I could stand here for all day to talk about challenges, but again I've summarised it down to 3 key areas. First of all, you're responsible for managing the day-to-day business and the business needs, and ensuring that you are aligning with what your company is doing from a strategy perspective. And secondly then, you have to balance that with the needs of your employees, because if your employees aren't happy, they're not going to be productive and you're not going to meet the needs of your business. It's that simple. And finally then, it's being able to react to change as it happens. And not to panic, not to get stressed about it, but to stand back from it and say, okay, I've just spent the last maybe month planning this, I've just rolled out this brand new process or whatever it is, and the next thing something comes along and basically just puts a bomb completely under it. So it's how you react to that is important. Do you panic, do you get stressed, or do you stand back from it and say, okay, let's make a plan. And finally, we were asked, I suppose, to share with you what some of our major achievements were, and I got a pen and paper and I was starting to write down a few bits and pieces that I had done over the years, etc. But I decided again to keep it very simple. For me, my biggest achievement in my career to date is doing a job that I love. I enjoy going to work every day, even on a Monday morning. I think everybody struggles to get out of bed on a Monday morning. I do too. But once I get to the building, once I get my computer logged on and my phone starts ringing, that's it. Everything else goes out the window. And to be honest, I think again, maybe this goes back to my work ethic, I think I've always had that attitude towards any job that I've done. I can't look back at any job and say I didn't enjoy working there or I didn't like it. I may have known that I would not do it for the rest of my life, but I can certainly look back and say that I learned something and I brought what I learned with me to the next job and was able to add value as a result. I suppose, advice I would give people is you need to pace yourself. Some of you may already know what your ultimate career goal is, and that's great. For those of you who don't, that's okay too. I certainly didn't, and I probably still don't on some level. But it is important to pace yourself, because if you try too quickly to get to the end goal, there's a less chance of you succeeding sometimes if you try to go at things too quickly. The other important thing is to make sure as you go along in your career, you will come across mentors and people that you work very well with and people who inspire you. And I would say do your best to learn as much as you can from those people when you come across them. Work-life balance is very important. It's great to be ambitious. It's great to, I'm a great advocate of people working hard, but always make sure that you find a balance between the two. And again, that probably goes back to pacing yourself somewhat as well. Finally, I would say, you get out what you put in. It is as simple as that. We're not owed a living, we're not owed a job by the companies that we work for. It's our responsibility to go into those companies and prove our worth. And if we do, the rest will fall into place naturally. So like I said earlier, there isn't a complex recipe to this. It is as simple as you put in, you get out what you put in, and if you can stick to that motto, you'll do okay. So on that note, I'm going to finish, and I'd like to take this opportunity to wish you all the best of luck in exams or whatever you have facing you over the next few months, and then in your future careers thereafter. The world is your oyster, and it's up to you what you do with it, basically.